So what is credit? Your credit score is based on 3 different bureaus: Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, and it's all about your history, paying on time, paying your debts on time. Really, it's all it is. So, the biggest factor is payment history. All right. The second biggest, and what we always tell our borrowers, the quickest way to get your scores up is paying down your credit cards. Okay, where your balances are versus your limits on revolving credit, which means credit cards. Okay, that does not account for installment loans, mortgages. Okay, it has to be a revolving credit card essentially. So if you were to pay down your balance and have a lower balance compared to your available limit, your scores go up. If you are maxed out on your balance, you're going to have lower credit scores. Okay, the amount you can borrow, the availability of credit impacts your scores.
And something I hear every single day is, hey Jim, hey Greg, Credit Karma said my score is 700. Why is it only a 620 when you guys run it? So there's a lot of different services out there that provide free information on your score. But when you're going for a mortgage, it's the most in-depth process you're going to have in terms of credit. So even if you go for a car loan, their car credit's different than the mortgage credit. So like I said, we use the FICO method. There's 3 bureaus: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And we're going to use your middle score of the 3. So not your high score, not an average, not your low, the middle. Every single loan program has a different requirement for your minimum credit score. Conventional, you can go down to a 620. FHA, you can go down to a 580. And there's a lot of different factors that even though you can go down to these scores, it does not necessarily mean you're going to get approved for a loan if you have the minimum credit score. Now, what we do as a lender, and this is going to get a little nerdy, a little jargony, and a little in the weeds, is every single deal we do has to get approved through a risk-based software. So what does that mean? We enter all your information in the system. Your name, your debts, your credit, your income, how much money you have in the bank, and so on and so forth. And the system's going to analyze your scenario, and it's going to spit out, hey, yes, we get an approval, or, hey, there's some work to do. Then it's our job as a lender to figure out what can we do to get you approved. Do we need to have you save more money? Do you have to pay off more debt? Do you need a cosigner? So there's a lot of factors that can go into this credit decision as to can we get you approved for a loan or do we have work to do?
One thing we hear all the time is, I don't want you to run my credit because it's going to impact my credit score. But the reality is the inquiries have very minimal impact on your scores. Maybe 1 or 2, 3 points, very minimal. So stop worrying so much about getting your credit ran. You're never going to know what your scores are without having a true hard inquiry on there. Okay, if you do it every once in a while, it's not going to impact your scores. Stop worrying about it so much is my honest answer.
Exactly. I hear it every single day. I don't want to have my credit run. It's going to knock my score down on so many points. The impact's minimal, like Jim said. The impact is, significant when you're having your credit run a lot in a short period of time for different purposes. So let's say you go for a mortgage, and the next day you go for a car, the next day you go for a personal loan, the next day you go for 5 different credit cards. That's when it becomes problematic because it's setting off to the bureaus, something's up. What's happening here? If you just have it run for a mortgage, once in a blue moon, you're fine.
One way to try to get your scores up is becoming an authorized user on someone else's account. So my story is when I was 18 years old, my dad added me as an authorized user to his credit card. And if you were to run my credit report at that time, you would have seen a history with a card of over 30 years, and I was only 18 years old. So immediately, you get all the history on that card on your report, okay? And that's how you're able to build history right away. So this is called a little hack, try to, credit hack, but that is how, the rich stay richer. They get their kids' credit scores immediately in the 700-800s, so when it's their turn to borrow, they're doing it at the lowest interest rates available. So authorized user accounts is a way to help build someone else's credit who has no credit, lower credit scores. They will immediately get all the history on whatever account they're added on to their credit score.
And one thing to add as well is probably the biggest killer I see in credit scores is making your damn payments on time. Whatever you have to do, make your payment. Make the minimum payment. Obviously, you want to pay it off as quickly as you can. But as long as you make at least the minimum payment, your scores won't drop as much. If you miss a payment, your score is going to take a major hit, and it's going to take so much time to recover from this.
It's easy to get your credit messed up. It's hard to get it back to where it needs to be.